Hey, what's up? We're back for another week, and this week it's for UFC 231, and I'm pretty freaking pumped for this card, man. I mean, Max Holloway against Brian Ortega. I mean, I just hope it goes down this time. We've had this, matchup promised to us a couple times now. Both times it hasn't happened, so has to happen this time, man. I mean, this can't be like a Tony Ferguson-Khabib situation, so I just really hope it goes down this time we get to see it. And I'm going to go over a little bit, the two events over the weekend. We're not going to do the whole cards like we usually do just because it's a lot of fights, but, we had a great weekend overall. We went 19-3 over the two cards, the fights that I predicted, and we hit all our plays, both of the most confident picks as well as both of the parlays, so it's a pretty good weekend overall for us. And I'm going to first go through the tough card a little bit, and just a few fights. Roosevelt Roberts, I thought he had a great performance. Came in there, got a nice guillotine over Darrell Horcher, and big finish for him. Probably going to do big things. He was part of the parlay of the week, and came through big for us. And then Tim Means, he was one of the fights that I got incorrect on this card. He really came to fight. He beat Ricky Rainey really easily. It was probably like a 3-minute fight, so I was really off on that prediction, and props to Tim Means for the big win. And, Maurice Green, Leah Letson won tough, so congratulations to them. And the other fight that I was incorrect on, Joe B-Man, Joseph Benavidez, came in there. He proved that he's not finished yet. He came in there, had a resounding, dominant performance against Alex Perez. Actually finished him twice. The ref kind of messed up on one of the stoppages. So big win for Joseph Benavidez, and we'll see where he goes from here. And next we have Kevin Aguilar, Rick Glenn. Kevin, that was a war. Big win for Kevin Aguilar, fun fight. And Shevchenko, Antonina, she got the, Shevchenko's sister started off right, so it's a good win for her. Ji Yeon Kim, she just didn't look very good in my opinion. And then Shabazian versus Darren Stewart, that was a fun fight. I thought Darren Stewart really should have finished that guy in the third round. I mean, he was exhausted, but big win for Edmund Shabazian, coming there to beat, a fringe top 15 guy like Darren Stewart. Big time win, so we'll see where he goes from there. Pedro Munoz, he came in there, he brutalized Brian Caraway, knocked him in the first round, and he's had some impressive finishes now, so big props to him. He really got it done in a big way, and then, I'm sorry, I said those other people won tough. They were just tough competitors. I'm sorry, these are the two that won tough. Macy Chiasen, I guess. I don't really remember how they pronounce that, but she had a good performance against Panny. She was just kind of able to overwhelm Panny, and Panny had some moments every now and then, but pretty dominant win. And then Juan Espino looked really good. He took down Justin Frazier, submitted him pretty quickly, and he looks like he has some good wrestling, man. I think that guy might be a good addition to the heavyweight division, to be honest with you. And then for the main event, Kamaru Usman went in there, handled business like a lot of people thought he would. Just completely dominated Rafael dos Anjos. Really dominant performance. And even Dana White was out there saying that he might get the next title shot, so he positioned himself really well, and we'll see where he goes from here. He definitely is going to be getting at least a #1 contender fight if he doesn't get the title shot, so big win for him. And for RDA, I would kind of like to see RDA go back to 155, man. I mean, maybe it's a rough cut, but against these guys we've seen, Colby, Tyron Woodley in my opinion, Kamaru now, all these pressure wrestlers, I feel like he's going to have a lot of trouble with them, so I feel like he probably should get back down to 155 there. But now we're gonna move on to the UFC Adelaide card, and this was I thought it was pretty boring until the main event. A few fights are fun here and there, but I thought Damir Ismagulov, he came in there, he showed why he's such a highly touted prospect. Just dominated Alex Gorgees. It was pretty fun fight, but they're both kind of just like, I thought Ismagulov could have won a little bit harder. I thought he was kind of going at half speed, and so kind of I feel like Gorgees just didn't push him enough. I feel like we'll definitely see more out of him in the future. And for Christos Giagos, he really gutted out a good performance against Hirota. Hirota wanted that win, man. He was pushing hard in the third round, but Christos Giagos took it from him with the wrestling. He was the bigger guy in there. He really wanted the win too. So big win for Christos Giagos. And what I thought was probably one of the best fights of the weekend with Kai Kara France and Elias Garcia, man. I mean, Kai Kara France looked incredible. Elias Garcia was game. Elias Garcia dropped him. Elias Garcia almost got him in a triangle, almost got him in an armbar. So he definitely put him in a lot of danger. But overall, Kai Kara France was just beating up on Elias Garcia. Really dominant performance. And he got the finish or no, he didn't. He ended up winning like 30-26, I think, on the card. So he really got it. He almost got the finish at the end of the fight, and almost got the finish on multiple occasions with ground and pound. But he just showed really good, striking. He was floating on top. He was doing a great job. Really seemed strong when Garcia would go in for the takedown entries, and good performance from Kai Kara-France. And man, I mean, we gotta that hashtag save the flyweights, man. We gotta start tweeting that out more, because I just don't want to miss these fights, man. I'm really gonna be sad if they get rid of the flyweight division. That was a great fight. Joseph Benavidez reannounced himself. And there's another flyweight fight on this card. Wilson Hayes, he had a good fight against Ben Nguyen, where it was a lot of pressure. A lot of action went down. It was a lot of wrestling, but I thought it was still a fun fight. And good fight for Wilson Hayes. He had 3 straight losses, got back on track. Keita Nakamura had a pretty lackluster win over Salim Touhari. And, Alexei Kunchenko, he really showed up, and he had a good win, in my opinion. I mean, I thought some people didn't like that fight, but I was a fan of that fight. I thought Kunchenko looked good. I thought he dominated Yushin Okami, and big win for him against a legend. And, I think Yushin still looks good, man. I mean, great timing on his shots. I mean, Alexei had phenomenal takedown defense. So I think both these guys are still viable in that division. And, Jim Crute, Paul Craig, Jim Crute went in there, and I thought he had some terrible fight IQ, man. I mean, I don't know why he continuously would not get on top of Paul Craig, because he was dominating him in top position. You would continue to let him stand back up and get taken down. It's like, man, bro, when you get in top position, just stay there. When you reverse him or something, but it's like, I don't know. He didn't have great fight IQ. He said that he was struggling with a lot of anxiety going into that fight, so I feel like we're going to definitely see some better performances from Jim Crute, but he was able to, after I say all that, he was still able to win the fight, and he was able to get a finish late in the fight with an arm triangle. So, big win for Paul Craig, or for Jim Crute. And, with a Kimura, I'm sorry, it was a Kimura I feel like he got the finish with. So, I mean, big win for Jim Crute. And, we'll see where he goes from here. It was kind of funny. He was slamming beers in the back after his win. So, seems like a fun guy. And, Sadiq Youssef against Suman Mokhtarian. Some people thought that was early stoppage, but I thought it was kind of inevitable. I did think it was a little early, but, Suman was getting beat up, and Sadiq really just put it to him. Sadiq just showed, man, that I think Sadiq's potential top 15 guy already. I mean, they need to give him like a top 30, top 25 fighter and really see where he's at, because I think Sadiq's really good, man. I mean, really good. And then Anthony Rocco Martin, man, I mean, a lot of people were questioning me on that pick. It kind of played out like I thought. They were going to rob Rocco, so I'm glad that he got the finish in the 3rd round. I mean, he was down 2-0, which don't really understand. I mean, I thought he won the 2nd round pretty clearly. He was beating up on that lead leg of Jake Matthews, and Matthews looked uncomfortable backing up a lot, not really throwing much, and thought Tony Martin clearly won that round, but they didn't give it to him, but he was able to get the finish in the 3rd round. Nice anaconda. He put Jake Matthews to sleep. Really shut up everyone that was, saying he wasn't good, or saying that, Jake Matthews is going to be able to dominate him on the ground, things like that. So, huge win for Anthony Martin, and, that was the last fight on his contract, so he really positioned himself now to probably be getting like a top 15 fight. I don't think he'll get paid, that much money. I don't think... He just hasn't built up that name, even though I think he deserves it. He's had a good track record in the UFC. But, he's definitely going to get a higher profile fight, in my opinion. And I feel like he's going to stick around. And for Jake Matthews, I feel like he's really, he's a great athlete. He's someone that I feel like could definitely be a good fighter for the future, but he needs to go to a better camp, in my opinion, or just somewhere where he's going to round out his striking, because it's still, like I said, it's mostly predicated on all athleticism, and if he can round that striking out, become more like a GSP-ish type game, I feel like he could be really good also. So definitely not putting Jake Matthews on the back burner yet either. So up next we had Justin Willis against Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's last fight, kind of sad. Mark Hunt got beat up, got hit with the jab, boring fight, and Justin Willis was able to just kind of win a dominating decision. And Mark Hunt's going to be leaving the UFC now. I think he still wants to continue to fight, so we'll see what happens with that. But, for Justin Willis, that was a big-time win there. He went to Australia. He got another win over a legend in their hometown. He's beaten 4 fighters in a row, I feel like, in the UFC. 3 were very low level, though, so this was definitely a big step up. He was able to win. And now he'll probably be getting a top 10 opponent. I wouldn't be surprised if they matched him up with Tai Tuivasa. They were talking a lot of shit Ty even talked about him in the post-fight, even after he lost, so definitely wants that fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if they put that together. But I'm actually at Shogun Rua versus Tyson Pedro, and pride never die, man. Shogun went in there, and this is the one fight that I got incorrect on the card, and I'm actually kind of happy that I got it wrong. Really happy to see Shogun go in there, get the TKO, and he was taking a lot of damage, and he showed that he could still take it, man. He could still take it, he could still dish it, he could come back, and I don't know if I want to continue to see Shogun taking that type of damage. It's kind of like, man, what does he have to prove at this point? But if he still likes to fight, he still goes out there, he gives us fun fights like that. I mean, you can't really tell him not to fight. So big win for Shogun Rua. And for Tyson Pedro, I mean, it did look like he hurt his leg or something, so I'm not trying to say Shogun knocked him out or ran over him. It was just fun to see, and Shogun definitely landed a lot of big shots on him also. But Pedro, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know, man, that's a pretty bad loss. He seems like he has some very poor fight IQ, and we're going to see if he's going to become something in the UFC very quickly, in my opinion, or we're going to see if he's going to be out of the organization. So he definitely needs to show up in his next fight in a big way, in my opinion. And then next, Junior Dos Santos gets Tai Tuivasa, and I actually had a bet on Junior Dos Santos, and after the first round, I was a little bit nervous, man, during that first round. Tai hit him with a huge leg kick. He was backing him to the fence and some big shots, and Junior showed that his chin is still there. At least it's there for now. He really held up. He took some big shots against Tuivasa, ate a huge leg kick. He was able to, recompose himself, come back in the fight in the second round, and land a big shot, drop tie, took him out with ground and pound, and Tuivasa he's a savage, man. I mean, JDS was mounted on top of him, and he's sitting there throwing hammer fists from his back. I mean, that's not good technique. It's not something you would teach someone to do, but definitely has the heart of a lion in there. He didn't want to say die, even though he didn't know how to get out of a mount. So, I think Ty will be back. He definitely is explosive. He's a good striker. And for Junior Dos Santos, that's another huge win for Junior. Back-to-back wins. And it's time to get him another step up. Time to maybe fight another, a name guy, not an up-and-comer. Even though Blagoy wasn't an up-and-comer, but it was his first fight in the UFC. Ty's a little bit of an up-and-coming guy. Maybe now he could fight, Francis Ngannou. He called Overeem. I mean, both those guys, those would be fun fights. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight a guy like Derek Lewis. So there's a lot of fun matchups out there for Junior. And we're going to move on now to UFC 231. And I mean, this is a hell of a card, man. I mean, obviously headlined by the two title fights, but they have Jimmy Manuwa on there against Thiago Santos, Gunnar Nelson returning, Claudia Gadelha. So there's a lot of fun fights on this card. And, the first fight that I'm going to go over, though, is Carlos Diego Ferreira against Jesse Ronson. And, Jesse Ronson, he's coming in here on short notice. I think he's out of Adrenaline MMA in Canada, so he's going to be at home here. And he's training with Chad Laprise, so he definitely has some decent striking training partners. And for Diego Ferreira, everyone knows about Diego Ferreira by now. He had a USADA suspension, came back, had a dominant win against Jared Gordon, and really, re-announce himself that he's still here, he's still going to come, he's still going to fight. And he's fighting Jesse Ronson on short notice. This is supposed to be John Makdessi fighting against Carlos Diego Ferreira, so I feel like Diego Ferreira is definitely going to be one in better condition here, and Jesse Ronson's probably up against it, but Diego Ferreira is a beast. He's very dynamic with jiu-jitsu, very sharp with boxing, he has nice kicks, good jab, straight right hand, he has a good left hook, he has nice uppercuts. He really lets his hands go. He's very aggressive. He'll throw a left hook, right uppercut combination in close range. Nice leg kicks. He likes to end combinations with head kicks as well. And he definitely will attack the body. Punches, straight punches. He keeps heavy pressure, heavy volume on his opponents. He'll throw spins in short range, like spinning back fists, hard body kicks. He actually does a decent job slipping punches in the pocket. He'll return with straights. He is hittable because he comes with forward pressure. He doesn't mind beating wars. And he isn't a huge power guy. He only has 2 KO TKOs, but he has a good chin. He's only been put down by Poirier. And he's a dynamic grappler, man. Incredible jiu-jitsu on top, off his back. He has great takedown defense. Good job getting double underhooks, circling to the back, getting on top. He isn't an active seeker of the takedown, He only has one in his whole UFC career, but his scrambling ability, his sweeping ability off his back is very impressive. He starts working off his back immediately. He'll try to go for triangles, omoplatas. use him to sweep, get on top, and when he gets on top, he's nasty, man. He has great back takes. He was able to sweep Aubin-Mercier, take his back. He dropped Jared Gordon. He trapped his wrist behind his back, finished him on ground and pound. He also hip-tossed Colton Smith, got a no-hooks rear naked choke in less than a minute. And he has a knack for finishing fights quickly, you know. He finished Jared Gordon very quickly. And a win here for Diego Ferreira would be massive, you know. 3 in a row, definitely would position him for a top 15 opponent. And I think Diego needs to use that forward pressure, walk down Ronson, counter with kicks, straight punches with overhands. Because I feel like Ronson, you know, he's a decent striker. He has decent power, it seems like. And but he strikes he's very tall in his stance, and he has his chin high. So I feel like Diego could go in there, and Diego could probably, you know, lay clean on this guy. But Jesse Ronson, you know, he looks like he's a decent striker, decent grappler. He'll attack the body with punches. He'll throw kicks. Has a decent straight right hand, decent jab. But like I said, he stands very tall in his stance. Has his chin kind of out there to be hit. And he lets fighters get inside and blitz on him, and that's where he likes to grapple. And he's obviously not going to want to grapple with a guy like Carlos Diego Ferreira, so I feel like he's really up against it here in this fight. And I'm going to go with Carlos Diego Ferreira to get a finish in the second round, probably via KO, TKO, and or submission after dropping him. So I'm going to go with Carlos Diego Ferreira on that one. And next you have Chad Laprise. He's taking on Diego Lima. And, you know, Diego Lima, once again, is getting another chance to fight in the UFC, you know. So he's had a lot of chances now here to fight in the UFC. But this looks like, in my opinion, a fairly straightforward fight for Chad Laprise. He got his win streak halted by Vicente Luque. But, you know, Vicente Luque is a beast, and he's going to get to fight here in his home country. And Diego Lima, he's coming off that dominant loss at the hands of Yushin Okami. He's lost back-to-back fights. Lima's 1-5 in UFC fights. He hasn't truly shown he deserves to fight at this level. And Lima likes to use a lot of lateral movement, try to stay long, throw body kicks, counter right straights. He's kind of stiff on his feet, especially with his punching. He can look like he's a quicksand a bit. He lets himself get backed up against the cage. Poor defense there. He does have solid kicks, both to the body, to the head, but he isn't super active on the feet and likes to take you down more now. He's taken a ton of punishment, ton of damage in his career. He has a questionable chin. He's been knocked out 4 times. And he isn't a big, you know, knockout striker. He only has 3 knockouts in his career. And he has tried to round out his game. He's mixed in some wrestling in recent fights. He'll shoot for doubles. He'll try to land trips in the clinch. On top, he isn't super active, but he is an opportunistic back taker. And he has good control there, but not great finishing ability. You know, he has poor takedown defense also. Yushin Okami was able to take him down with double legs at will. And he lets himself get back to the fence. He has his feet, you know, too close together. It makes it easy to dump him on his back. And on his back, he isn't very good. You know, he's a brown belt in BJJ. He has a couple triangle victories. But he doesn't get up off his back where he can get beat up. And this is a tough matchup for him. I feel like he's outgunned on the feet and in the wrestling. And his best path to victory, in my opinion, is to try to take down Laprise, grind him out. But, you know, Chad Laprise is good success. It's going to be the 170. He's 3-1. He's going to be looking to bounce back after a loss to a top 15 opponent, in my opinion, Vicente Luque. And Laprise is a solid striker. He's mostly a boxer, but he'll throw an occasional head kick, leg kick. And he has good movement. He has good angles, sharp boxing, nice jabs, straight punches. He likes to time you coming in, laying hard counters. And he's much better when he has space. He can use unconventional movement, stay unpredictable with the shots. When he's getting pressured and on the back foot, he's not as comfortable. He'll throw, you know, not nearly as much. And when he's being pushed backwards, he can get hit with jabs and left hands. Ross Pearson was also able to eat up his leg in their fight. But Laprise has a nasty overhand right. And when he hurts you, he'll go for the kill. You know, he has pretty nasty liver shots, good timing on his body shots. And he isn't the biggest welterweight. You know, but he still packs power. He's finished all 3 of his welterweight wins by KO, TKO in the UFC, and he has 7 KO, TKOs overall. He has a solid chin, but he has been finished twice by strikes. He is a competent grappler. He has a good body lock, good double legs. On top, he has a decent top game, good control. He'll advance the dominant position, finish the fight, and he has a nice ground and pound. He has, you know, he finished Global Fonde with ground and pound. He has good takedown defense. He's hard to control on the mat. And I feel he's the better wrestler in this matchup. And if he wants to take down Lima, he can. And he isn't a submission threat with just one sub. He's never been submitted himself. Laprise should look to back Lima against the fence, throw long boxing combinations. And he's going to have the cleaner punching technique, in my opinion, the faster hand speed. and you'll be able to land in close range. And I see Laprise taking Lima out. I think Lima's not UFC caliber. Laprise will be able to take him out with punches, in my opinion, against the cage. So I'm going to go with Chad Laprise via second round TKO in that fight. And up next, we have Brad Katona against Matthew Lopez. And, I already had a bet placed on this fight on Matthew Lopez. After I saw the line, I was very surprised. Do not agree with that line at all. But Brad Katona is going to make it a second UFC appearance after winning tough. He trains out of SPG Ireland. He's going to be trying to turn around the recent run of losses they've been on. And for Katona, he's a solid athlete. He's well-rounded. He has nice leg kicks, good lead left hook. He uses his lead left hook to set up punching combinations. You'll follow with the straight right hand or the right hook. He has a good straight right hand to the body, left hook combination. He does a good job attacking the body with punches, to ultimately disguise his level changes and get takedowns. Decent body kicks, he'll explode in with lead left hooks, overhand rights. But he doesn't throw his hands a bunch in combination, and he can get obvious with his entries. He doesn't do a great job of feinting or changing up his shots. He kind of enters the same way. And he can get hit clean closing the distance. He doesn't really move his head. And he can get hit and taken down as well. But, sometimes he'll also throw blind leg kicks, which people can catch. And he has a good chin. He's never lost a fight, so he has great confidence. He doesn't have great power, though. He definitely is more of a wrestler. Only 1 KO in his career. He has improved movement and volume in his most recent fight. And he looks to be improving, and I expect him to look better again here in this match. But he's a good grappler. He's an okay wrestler. He's fairly explosive, athletic. He likes to shoot singles and doubles from the outside, fake the shot, throw punches over the top. On top, he's strong. He has good control. He'll try to land hammer fist, short punches. He likes to, work from the guard to the half guard. He isn't extremely dangerous on top, but he will attempt guillotines, decent back take and rear naked chokes. And fighters are able to take him down. And he's explosive, though. He's hard to hold down. He has good cardio. He's a hungry young fighter, trying to prove himself, obviously. He's still green, but he's improving. He needs to keep this fight on the feet and try to outstrike Lopez. He should attack the body, throw leg kicks early and often, try to counter with left and right hooks, because Lopez has lost back-to-back fights by KO, TKO. So Katona needs to test that chin and see if it's still there. For Matthew Lopez, like I said, he's fallen on tough times after a strong start to his UFC career. He's been knocked out back-to-back times, and with the loss here, he could be in danger of losing his job, And Lopez looked out of shape, in my opinion, for his fight with Alejandro Perez, and he gassed out pretty quickly. I see him knowing this fight has potential job-saving implications and come, in much better condition. And Lopez is a fast starter. He's won the first round in all 5 of his UFC fights. He's a decent southpaw striker, good hands. He's a nice jab, good left hook. Fast straight left hand. He has nice inside leg kicks, left body kicks. He's very heavy on his lead leg. He's gotten it chopped down in his previous 2 fights. But he does a good job landing nice uppercut straight punches, countering with overhands off the leg kicks. And, he'll go to the body in close range. He has a fast duck under for a double leg takedown as well. And he has power in his hands. He's willing to wing hooks in the pocket. He has good power. 4 KO, TKOs, and 10 wins. And he's been finished twice back-to-back by strikes. He badly needs a win here. He's a fantastic wrestler, though. He's the wrestling coach at Genesis MMA. Great doubles, great singles. Good job chain wrestling. He'll come up into the clinch. If he can't finish his shot, circle to the back. Get nice suplexes or trips. He's very good at standing in the pocket, seeing a punch coming, ducking under, landing doubles. And on top, he works quickly. He's very dangerous. He does a great job going to mount, landing nasty ground and pound. Did that to Johnny Eduardo. He also has great back takes, rear naked chokes. And if he gets on top of Katona, I think he's definitely going to be the better ground fighter. He's good at scrambles. He does a good job using funky positions to create, 50-50 scrambles and end up in top position. And he proved he's a great submission grappler, going toe-to-toe with Hani Yahya. And, he should try to use his pressure boxing game to stalk Katona to the fence, where he can eventually level change, take him down, get the back, get the rear naked choke. And I think Lopez has the ability to hurt Katona on the feet with punches as well. But I'm going to go with Matthew Lopez here. I would be, super confident in him, but getting KO TKO back-to-back times does give me some pause for concern. But he needs to start fast, push Katona back to the fence, jab his kicks, let his hands go, get the takedown, get the back, get the rear naked choke. And I see him doing that, in round 1. If he can, he needs to come in enough shape to continue this game plan all 3 rounds, because Katona doesn't usually slow down. But the pick is Matthew Lopez to be a first-round submission in that fight. And I think he has a good chance of getting it done. Next we have Alexander Rakic. He's fighting against Devin Clark. And, the return of Alexander Rakic is happening. I'm excited for it. He's coming off a destructive beatdown of Justin Ledet. And I'm excited to see his progression. He's taking on Jackson Wink product Devin Clark. And Clark's a powerful, explosive athlete himself, but Rakic is a gigantic light heavyweight. He's 6'5", 78-inch reach. He has big size advantage on the former 185-pounder Devin Clark. And he has a nice long punches, good jab, left hook. He has very good lead hand. He has a nice lead uppercut, straight right hand combination. He closes a lot of distance with his punch combinations. He's very fast for someone his size. Strong hooks. He's quick in the pocket with punches. He has nasty inside-outside leg kicks. He tenderized the front leg of Justin Landette. Great job landing hard hooks, uppercuts off the break. Switches stances seamlessly, and he can strike well from both stances. He'll throw spinning heel kicks to the head, to the body. Super athletic and explosive. Definitely improving rapidly. And if he continues at this trajectory, he's going to be a problem for the entire division. You know, he's a cerebral fighter. Comes in the fight with great game plans. He's very big, powerful for the division. And he has 7 KO, TKOs, and 10 wins. He has a good chin. He's never been finished with strikes. He's improving rapidly as a grappler. You know, he's big. He's long for the division. He uses it to his advantage in wrestling exchanges. He does a great job sprawling, digging underhooks, getting in top position. And he has a nice single leg takedowns along with body lock trips. On top, he has very heavy pressure along with heavy elbows, short punches. Does a great job staying on top, staying busy, winning the round. He will rarely look for submissions. He just has one in his career, but he has been taken down a few times by Francis Barberhose. But he showed a good get-up game, and you should know Clark's path to victory in this match is through wrestling. Train the takedown defense accordingly. And he has tremendous cardio. He can melt opponents with pressure, with pace. He's riding a 10-fight winning streak. And, you know, he should have a lot of confidence coming in this matchup. Rakic should look to pressure Clark in this fight with punching combinations, leg kicks. If he can cut the cage off, put pressure on Clark to think he could I think he can get him to panic, you know, shoot a sloppy takedown where he can maybe, you know, get on top, finish with ground and pound. And for Devin Clark, he's coming off a big upset win over Mike Rodriguez, which I predicted correctly on the here. And he's going to be looking to take on Rakic's momentum as well, you know. And Clark, he's felt what the top 5 of the division is like. He had that loss to Jan Blachowicz. And, you know, he's very explosive. He's a good athlete, decent jab, a good left hook. He'll throw loop-in overhand right to the outside. He uses his punches to close distance, you know, crash into the clinch. He likes to use a long stance with his lead hand down, right hand always cocked to throw. And, you know, he'll throw spinning back kicks to try to catch fighters at close range. He likes the Superman punch. Everything is kind of to close the distance. He doesn't like striking at range. He's light on his feet, though. It's hard to gauge when he's going to come in with punches or takedown attempts. He has strong body and head kicks. He also throws hard leg kicks. But overall, he's a great striker. He mostly relies on speed, athleticism. He doesn't have many setups to his shots. He just closes the distance with one punch or one kick at a time. He's going to be at a big disadvantage on the feet in terms of just technique, sharpness. He needs to close the distance to get this fight to the ground. But he is a big, powerful guy. He has 3 KO TKOs. He's only been finished once by strikes at 185 pounds. And, you know, Devin Clark is a former wrestler. That's his bread and butter. You know, he's explosive closing distance. He's very strong when he gets a hold of opponents. Does a great job closing distance with an overhand, ducking under, getting double legs. Very strong in the clinch. He'll get body locks, easy takedowns. On top, he's very heavy. He likes to blanket opponents with pressure, ground and pound. He can't get too wild trying to get in the clinch or get the takedown, give his back up. He definitely got choked out by Jan Blachowicz, you know, due to being too hasty in the clinch, you know, trying to get in. He got caught with the no hooks with a, you know, standing rear naked choke. And, you know, he does a good job digging unhooks, though, pushing fighters to the cage. He can be controlled in that position. And, you know, he has great cardio. He can wrestle hard for all 3 rounds. He needs to use punches to close the distance, get Rakic to the cage, take him down. Rakic is a tall fighter, so he may be, you know, easier to get it on double legs, land body locks on. But I see Alexander Rakic, you know, I see early on, you know, I see him maybe, you know, struggling to land shots because he's nervous about the takedown from Clark. I see Clark, you know, try to be moving in and out, throw leg kicks, then fake shots, you know, try to throw to the body, fake shots, throw overhand rights, really try to predicate everything off his takedown attempts. And, but eventually, you know, I see Rakic starting to read that, starting to time. And, you know, I see him denying a few takedown attempts of Devin Clark, starting to walk him down, start to land his shots. And I see Clark, eventually I think Clark's just going to, you know, start to melt, man. I think the cardio of Rakic will start to prevail. I think Clark will start to go for some silly takedowns. I think eventually Rakic will get on top and be able to finish it with ground and pound. So I'm going to go with Alexander Rakic via, you know, 3rd round TKO in that fight. And next we have OAM, Oliveira Aubin-Mercier fight against Gilbert Burns. And, this fight's already been booked previously, but it didn't go down. Gilbert Burns was denied the ability to fight when he came into fight week 2 overweight. And hopefully it can happen this time because it's an interesting contest. Both fighters had win streaks snapped in their last outing, so they need a win here to stay afloat in the uber competitive lightweight division. And, Olivier Aubin-Mercier has really improved his game as of late. He did run into a buzzsaw with Alexander Hernandez, but he performed admirably. He's still a fighter to watch for the future, in my opinion. He's a big, bulky grappler, and he's starting to round out his striking game a little bit. He has a tricky southpaw. He has a good inside leg kick, good body kicks. Throws nice right hook, straight left hand combination, nice jab. He'll double, triple up on the jab. He has great timing on his left hook. He'll catch fighters as they close the distance. Nasty straight left hand to the body. He heard and finished Evan Dunham quickly with that shot and then follow-up shots. He has gotten much faster with his hand speed, and he's made himself more dangerous. He's also more comfortable opening up with more techniques, such as high kicks, spinning back kicks to the body. He's only has one KO TKO in his career, but it was in his last win. He's growing as a striker, and he has a great chin. He's never been finished in his career, and he's a very strong grappler. He's a bruiser. And he is strong in the clinch. He has nice knees to the body. He has good control against the cage. Strong body lock takedowns. He does a great job slowing the fight down by using the clinch when fighters close the distance on him. Strong doubles, good single legs. And on top, he's very strong. And he has good jiu-jitsu. He's an opportunistic submission game. He keeps very heavy pressure, physical pressure on opponents. Forces them to give their back. And then he has great control, good rear naked chokes. Good takedown defense. He proved that against Alexander Hernandez. He had a great battle with the potential future champion. He was able to use a Kimura to sweep Hernandez, get top position, able to deny a lot of takedown attempts. He even took down Hernandez. And he has 7 rear naked chokes. He has 1 key lock. He has good cardio. He's going to be looking to bounce back, get a win in his home country. I see Aubin-Mercier trying to keep this fight standing, catch Burns with shots as he closes his distance, and then if Burns gets inside, tie him up, get him to the cage, land some knees, land some shots, and then disengage. And I think he's going to be the cleaner boxer in close range, and I believe his body kick will give Burns issue if he can keep the fight standing. I see him having an advantage in the stand-up, but Burns is an amazing BJJ practitioner. He's fighting out at Hard Knocks 365 with Henry Hooft and those guys, and he's trying to round out his striking game. His power makes him dangerous, but he's still a bit wild. He'll throw the jab out there along with the straight right hand. He has a decent left hook, and he has an overhand right always cocked, ready to go. He has big power in his right hand. He can finish the fight with one shot. Strong leg kicks, hard body kicks. He loads up on his shots. It makes him very dangerous, but also obvious, easy to read. He attacks in straight lines on the feet. He doesn't use a lot of angles or movement. He is light on his feet, but he likes to stand right in front of opponents at times. He doesn't have great defense. He'll just back straight up, shell up. He has good heart. He has a good chin. He's dangerous early. He'll go hard for the finish, but he does slow down as the fight goes on. He has 5 KO TKOs in his career. He's only been finished once, but it was a pretty brutal knockout just 5 months ago. And he's one of the best BJ practitioners in the UFC, and he's dangerous off his back and on top. Decent double leg entries, but he doesn't finish his shots that well. If he can get in the clinch, he could bully guys, slam them to the mat. He does a good job getting double underhooks. He has good body locks. On top, he's very heavy with great submissions. He has good arm bars. He has decent rear naked chokes. Dan Moret was able to stand up a couple times against the cage, survive on his back against Burns, but he landed some nice ground and pound elbows on Moret. And he has 7 career submissions, 12 wins and 13 finishes. 12 finishes and 13 wins. And Burns should try to use his hooks, explosive combinations, close the distance, try to take OAM down, and just, try to continuously walk him down, throw power, and just try to keep that pressure on OAM, because OAM isn't going to be as powerful as him, so maybe he's going to be able to take the shots, just keep walking him down, and, not let OAM breathe. And, I think Burns is always a dangerous fighter, but I think OAM is in a good spot here. I see him being able to control the range, lay decent leg kicks, use his check left hook, catch Burns as he closes his distance. And I think he's going to be able to deny some takedown attempts, and I think he'll be able to control Burns against the fence, land some knees, wear him out a little bit. And I think OAM will land a hard left hook, left hand, and, drop Gilbert Burns at some point in this fight. But I feel like it's going to be probably a decision. But I'm going to go with Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the Canadian gangster, to get it done in that fight. And I'm next have Eric Anders taking on Elias Theodoru. And this is an interesting fight. These guys have been calling each other out on social media for a while. They're finally going to get to duke it out. But Eric Anders had a very busy 2018. He's returning less than 3 months after that brutal short notice fight that he lost to Thiago Santos due to exhaustion. And Theodoru is coming off back-to-back ho-hum decisions, which is kind of his MO. But, you know, Theodoru, he's done, you know, himself to disservice in the UFC because of his boring style. But he has been able to win fights. You know, he's effective at scoring points. But Eric Anders, you know, he's athletic southpaw, he has knockout power, does a good job using forward pressure, pushing fighters to the cage. He's a nice straight left hand, he's a decent straight right hand as well. And he will throw a left hook, right uppercut combination. He has good power, he has good hand speed. And when he actually lets his hands go, he tends to be, you know, pretty accurate, but he seems like he's low output most of the time. He will throw low leg kicks, he has a nice head kick. He had a big knockout in his last fight versus Tim Williams with a head kick. And he seems to wait a lot of fighters to get a one-punch knockout. And he can let fighters go first, rack up points against him. He needs to be more aggressive in this fight. He can't let his hands, you know, be very, or he can't let himself be very low output, because Theodoru will just out-volume him on the feet. But he's explosive with knockout power. He has 7 knockouts. He's never been finished via strikes in his career, and he showed up a great shit against Thiago Santos. And for Anders, to me, he's a better grappler than he is a striker. You know, he likes to use punches to get in the clinch, push fighters to the cage. He's strong in clinch positions. He'll land short knees and punches, nice elbows. He'll attack the head with kicks off the break. And on top of Anders is strong. He has good ground and pound, good control. He throws nice knees to the body. He can get fighters on the ground near the fence, throw hard punches, good back takes. He'll search for rear naked chokes. He usually has good cardio, but he's coming off a grueling match in which he lost due to exhaustion versus Thiago Santos. And Anders needs to be more active in this fight. If he just walks down Theodoru, doesn't throw much, I see him most likely losing the decision. I feel Anders should look to get inside, throw hook combinations, get takedowns. And we've seen Theodoru taken down by fighters like Tavares. And I just feel like the rhythm breaking kicks and the movement of Theodoru will trouble Anders if this is a 15-minute striking fight. But Theodoru is coming in this match on a 2-fight winning streak. He's won 4 or 5 overall. He's a point fighter. He likes to use a lot of kicks, timely grappling to win decisions, constantly switching stances. He stays in kicking range all the time. He's always gauging and controlling distance. He fully extends his lead arm. He'll throw kicks, moving. He rarely ever throws punches. He never wants to be in boxing range, and he always throws outside leg kicks, front kicks to the body. He'll throw front kick to the legs. Also, a lot of round kicks to the body, a lot of side kicks to the body, spinning kicks to the body, to the head. He'll throw a lot of jumping roundhouse kicks. He's always moving. He can throw kicks for both stances. He's kind of hard puzzle to solve. A lot of wasted movement, and I feel like it tires him out. He's a little bit sloppy on the feet. And when fighters explosively close distance on him, he can be very defensive, back up to the cage. He can get exploited there. He isn't dangerous on the feet. The fighters don't really have to worry about getting dropped or knocked out. But he has 5 KO, TKOs in his career. A lot of those are on the ground. He has a great chin. He has big heart. He's never been finished. And he's a gritty fighter. He's tenacious. He has good, decent grappling, you know. He likes to tie fighters up when they close the distance on him. He does a good job grinding on fighters in the clinch. And he has nice shots off the break. It's kind of one of the rare places where he'll throw punches. He'll throw occasional jabs, lead elbows, and uppercuts. But, you know, most of the time, just on the feet, he's sticking and moving. But he has no problems throwing short uppercuts, punches in the clinch. He does a good job getting in on body lock clinches, circling to the back, where he has decent suplexes. And he does a good job pummeling against the cage. He'll dig an underhook. He has good control. And he can be controlled against the cage as well. He can struggle to get his back off the cage. And he'll make it a dogfight. He'll continue to land shots on the break, re-clinch, make fighters work when he feels them slowing down. He's hard to take down, but he doesn't have great takedowns himself either. But he prides himself in his cardio. He can go hard for all 3 rounds. He needs to use a lot of movement, throw off Anders with rhythm-breaking kicks as he tries to close the distance. Anders is low output, and if Theodoru can go first, stop Anders' offense with those constant volume of kicks, he can win an easy decision. You know, Theodoru just needs to avoid getting backed up to the fence, because that's where he's in most danger to be hit with a big shot or controlled. But I'm going to go with the live Theodoru, man. I see him kicking and moving, frustrating Anders, not letting him get inside, not letting him get off. And the only way I see Anders winning the stand-up is if he hits and hurts Elias with a big shot. But I don't think his style is a good matchup for the striking of Theodoru. In my opinion, you know, the smartest game plan for Anders is to get Theodoru against the cage, control him in the clinch. And I think if we can do that, if he comes in with that game plan. But ultimately, I see Theodoru winning the rounds, making it boring, getting points. And if Elias can keep this fight moving in the center of the cage and not get clinched up and initiate the clinches himself if he needs to, you know, I think he'll win the match. So I'm going to go with Elias Theodoru to get the victory in that fight. And up next, you have Chookagian against Jessica Ai. And, this is an interesting fight. It's probably the #1 contender fight for the women's flyweight division. And Chookagian, she's 2-0, 125 pounds in the UFC, 7-0 overall in the weight class. And she's already beaten some top fighters in the division, such as Andrea Lee, Lauren Murphy, Sijara Eubanks, Alexis Davis. Jessica Ai, she's also 2-0 in the women's flyweight division in the UFC. She's 6-0 overall in the weight class. Both girls are very confident. This should be a fun fight. Chookagian's a good striker. She's a point fighting style. She has a nice jab. She'll double, triple up on it. She'll follow the jab with a straight right hand, left kick combination. She's very fluid with her lead leg. She has a nice front kick, side kick to the body, fast high kick. She'll throw question mark kicks, hook kicks with her lead leg. She has good overhand lefts and rights in close range. She will sit down, throw with power. She has a nice left hook, straight right hand to the body, and she'll throw hooks to the body also. She has a nice rear uppercut. She's good at catchy kicks, returning with shots, and she's definitely good defensively. She has good footwork, lateral movement, keeps a high volume of shots out there. Her left knee and high kick are probably her most dangerous attack. She dropped Liz Carmouche with a head kick. She has 2 knockouts in her career. She's never been finished, and she's a Renzo Gracie brown belt. She's well versed on the mat. Good duck unders for double legs. She's strong in the clinch with knees. She's good at landing hard knees to the body, disengaging. And when fighters try to clinch with her, she has good takedown defense. And when she does get taken down, she will attack with triangles with arm bars. She has a decent get-up game. She does have 2 submissions in her career. She has an arm bar. And on top, she has good control. She'll win rounds through top position. She isn't a huge finishing threat in top position, and I doubt she'll go for takedowns here. I see Chookagian implementing her usual game, striking and movement from the outside. She should try to use her kicks to set up her punches. Always be moving, throwing high volume of shots out there. And, Jessica Ai was dropped with a high kick by Kalidra Faria, so Chookagian should try to exploit that as well. I feel like if she uses her jab to blind that high kick, she can land it on Jessica Ai. And Jessica Ai is very confident. She's been calling for a title shot since the division was open, and she has a big upset win in her last fight over Jessie Jess, and she's gonna be looking to earn her title shot with the win here. And Ai's a boxer. She has decent head speed, nice jab, good straight right hand. She has a good job using her lead left hook to a right straight combination. Good overhand right, left body kick also. She likes to catch fighters as they close the distance. And she has a good right hand. She'll time them as they close distance with it. And she won't nearly throw as much output as Chookagian. She will throw some decent outside leg kicks, body kicks. She'll go high with the rear kick. She has good front kicks to the body, into the face, but she isn't very fluid with her kick game. She's much more of a puncher, and she's much more of a counter puncher. She doesn't have big power. She just has 3 TKOs in her career. She's never been finished by strikes, and she's a tough chick. And she has tried to round out her game, and even competed at jiu-jitsu competitions against the like of Miesha Tate. So she has definitely tried to get better on the ground. She has decent double legs. She'll try to get body locks in the clinch. She'll throw heavy elbows, search for submissions on top. She has good back takes, good rear naked choke. She likes to attack with leg locks. She has the 50-50 position to get on top. She has good takedown defense, and I doubt she'll go for many takedowns herself in this fight. Maybe she'll go for body locks or try to catch kicks. But she only has 1 submission, and she's been submitted 1 time herself. I need to try to use her counter straight right hand and overhand to Chookagian. There's a jab. If she can lay clean, hurt Chookagian, that's probably her best path to victory. But I feel Chookagian's movement will give Ai issues on the feet. I also struggle to connect with her punches. I see Chookagian doubling up her output on the feet. Even if she isn't landing, Chookagian should throw hard leg kicks, try to hurt the leg of Ai. And I think Chookagian will be able to win a pretty clear decision here. Just do what she does. And up next, you have Claudia Gadelha against Nina Ansaroff. And, this is an interesting fight. A lot of people long time they've been on Nina Ansaroff at ATT, saying she's like one of the best fighters in the division, and she's going to take the belt and all this type of stuff. So she's highly touted, but in my opinion, Nina Ansaroff is she's a very good Muay Thai striker. She has nice leg kicks. She's very tactical, but she's not the greatest athlete. She's flat-footed. And I feel like that's going to come to bite her in this fight. Randa Marcos was continuously able to get her on her legs, back her up to the cage a bit. And I feel like if Claudinia's able to do that, Claudinia's going to take her down easily, man. I mean, Claudia's, a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a beast. She's a powerhouse. And, I feel like Claudinia, she's underrated, man, even still, against Carla Esparza. She came in there. She had a torn ACL. She still was able to, have a fun fight, close fight. She gutted it out, and she's probably going to be in much better shape for this fight. I just feel like, she's she's much more explosive. She's the better athlete, and I just feel like she's going to be able to back up Nina Ansaroff, get her near that fence, take her down, and get her back, and submit her pretty quickly, man. So I'm going to go with Claudia Gadelha. She's get a first shot finish, and, you know, really just re-announce herself like she's back in the division. You know, don't give me these fights against girls like Nina Ansaroff, because I feel like, you know, Claudia should be able to handle a girl like this and just, you know, remind everyone that she should be getting stiffer competition. So I'm going to go with Claudia Gadelha, first round rear naked choke in that fight. And up next, you know, Hakeem Dawodu fighting against Kyle Bochniak, and I'm not really sure why this fight's on the main card, but, you know, Hakeem Dawodu is a very athletic striker. He got blitzed and finished very quickly against Danny Henry in his UFC debut, and he followed that up with a decision over Austin Arnett. You know, he's a striker, he has decent power. He'll wear opponents out with hard body shots. He hammers knees to the body to clinch. He does a good job attacking with hooks to the body. He throws jabs, hard leg kicks, inside, outside throughout the fight. Big power in his kicks. He ate up that front leg of Austin Arnett. He is flat-footed. He doesn't move his head off center line. And when he throws hooks, it makes him susceptible to straight punches. He likes to use a lot of hooks, uppercuts, wide punches in the pocket. And, you know, people that throw straight can catch him right down center line. And his chin to me is a bit questionable. He's never been finished with strikes. He has 6 KO, 2 KOs, and 8 wins. So, you know, so far he's been doing good with the striking. He's a strong athlete. He's a good grappler. Strong in the clinch, lands hard knees, short punches to the body. He's explosive with double legs. He has good body locks. On top, he isn't great. He has decent ground and power, but he's still green on the ground. He has good takedown defense. He's explosive. He's hard to hold down. Great cardio. He comes in good shape every fight. He needs to use movement, not stand in the pocket with Bochniak. Bochniak's extremely comfortable in the war. It was evident against Zabit. If he can chop the legs of Bochniak, move, time, double legs, he can potentially take a decision. I think he needs to mix his striking and wrestling to win this fight, quell the forward motion of Bochniak. But Kyle Bochniak, he had a fight of the year candidate earlier in the year against Zabit Magomedsharipov. He's a tough, never say die fighter out of Massachusetts. He does a good job sticking to his game plans. He has movement. He has the movement to play an outside game, along with the toughness, the cardio to play a pressure game. He's light on his feet. He has a nice jab, accurate straight right hand, good counter left hook. He follows with a right hook or right straight. He has no problem sitting in the pocket, trading power shots. He has a great chin. And I see pressure being effective in this fight. He's close the distance with punches, jab Dawodu's kick, stay in his face. He's explosive with blitz attacks. And I can see Bochniak hurting the key with a big shot. He does have 2 KOs in his career. He's never been finished with strikes. And Bochniak is a good wrestler. He does a good job setting up his takedowns with punches. He likes to close distance with the overhands and fake the overhands, duck under for well-timed double legs. He does have great ability on his takedowns, or doesn't have great finishing ability, but he does a good job landing punches off the break, re-shooting, making people work. He has good single leg entries against the cage. He'll try to dump his opponents. He has solid control of the clinch. He lands short shots, but doesn't normally engage in the clinch heavily. He has fantastic cardio. He has a good chin. And I see him being a guy you have to put out cold and stop from coming forward. Bochniak can close the distance with punches. Like I said, jam the kicks of Dawodu, try to stalk him towards the cage. He's trying to force Dawodu to engage in grappling situations, especially early, get him thinking, slow him down. And if Bochniak can get inside, I see him be the one landing the harder shots in the boxing range. And I'm going to go with Kyle Bochniak here. He has good hands. I feel his straight punches will beat Dawodu's hooks. I think he's going to land clean, force Dawodu to fight moving backwards, try to clinch, defend takedowns against the cage, because I think Dawodu's going to become a wrestler in this fight. You know, I see him landing shots on the break, just wearing out Dawodu, possibly even finishing it with a TKO, but I'm going to say he takes a decision 29-28 in a fairly competitive fight. I see Dawodu being able to control the distance early in rounds, possibly land some shots, move, but ultimately in the second half of rounds, I feel like if Bochniak can land leg kicks and you know, keep him on the end of his shots, push him back, I feel like he can pressure him to the fence, man, and just start to wear on him. So I'm going to go Kyle Bochniak to get the finish in that, or to get the decision win in that fight. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle Bochniak. Next, we have a really fun fight, man. I'm really looking forward to this one. Gunnar Nelson against Alex Cowboy Oliveira. And, you know, this is an interesting fight because Gunnar Nelson's making his return after a 1.5-year layoff. He got knocked out in round 1 against Santiago Ponzinibbio. And Alex Cowboy Oliveira's been on a bit of a tear this year, you know. He's been fighting a lot of times. He just had a huge knockout win over Carlo Pedersoli in like 40 seconds. Beat a legend in Carlos Condit. Had a fight of the year candidate against Yancy Medeiros. So he's been doing the damn thing this year, man. And Nelson's been off track, so we'll see what happens. Nelson's a karate fighter. He has a long stance. hands-down fighting style. He's very quick in and out. He does a great job controlling range. Great straight right hand. He's extremely fast, closing distance. He has a nice check left hook. He does a good job slip countering with straight punches. He isn't very high volume. You know, throws usually just one shot at a time, but he has strong kicks with his front leg. He throws nice inside, outside leg kicks, side kicks to the body, to the head. He'll mix in some spinning heel kicks, other spinning kicks as well. He is heavy on his lead leg. I feel Cabo will be able to land low kicks. And when Nelson gets his movement hindered, he becomes much more hittable. But he has good, but not devastating power. He has 3 KO TKOs in his career. He's never been finished prior to the knockout at the hands of Ponzinibbio. But in my opinion, Nelson just keeps his hands up in this fight, man. I just feel like keeping your hands down against explosive knockout artists like Oliveira is a big risk. But Nelson's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's a former ADCC competitor. He's a Renzo Gracie black belt. And, you know, Nelson's a good wrestler. He has nice double legs, good body lock trips. On top, he's very heavy. He has great ground and pound, great guard passing. He'll get to the mount. He'll land big elbows, big punches. Makes fighters give their back row, lock in rear naked chokes. He also has nice high elbow guillotines. You saw that after catching and dropping out of body. He was able to get one. He has good takedown defense. I doubt Cabo will attempt takedowns. He's looking, you know, really diesel in recent photos. He left SBG. I feel like he's going to come in here with a grappling heavy game plan. I see Nelson trying to time Oliveira as he you know, closes the distance with straight right hands. Try to duck under, get a takedown, get the rear naked choke. But Alex Cabo Oliveira is a beast, man. He's been on a roll lately. He's loose. He's calm in the cage. It's a lot of fun. And he starts right away. There's no feeling out process. He's very athletic. He's wild. He uses a lot of lateral movement, throw hard inside leg kicks, looping punches. He comes in on fast blitz attacks, really nasty straight left hand. He'll throw it 4 or 5 times in a row, close the distance with it, closes a lot of distance with it. Nasty teep to the body, extremely powerful uppercut. He KO'd Ryan LaFleur with an uppercut. Oliveira is dangerous at all times. You know, he has really nice standing elbows, nice double knees to the body, great chin. He just has a will to win, but he's taking a lot of damage. You know, he's huge power. He had a quick knockout less than a minute against it. Karate style is similar to Nelson, you know, in Carlo Pedersoli. He has 12 KO TKOs. He's been finished one time by strikes. And that was a fight where he got his nose badly broken against Yancy Medeiros. But Oliver's a strong grappler. He's great at clinch. He does a great job of getting double underhooks, landing nasty knees to the body. He gets wrist control, lands hard knees to the body, hard elbows. He's very physically strong. He likes to control and finish his opponents in that position. And he has good body locks, good double leg takedowns against the cage. He has nasty ground and pound, very heavy top control, looks for arm triangles. And he can get swept, and he was swept double legged a couple times by Carlos Condon, so I don't think he wants to play around on the ground with Gunnar Nelson. He uses a lot of strength, muscling on bottom rather than technique, and that'll get him in trouble. Cowboy needs to just throw a lot of leg kicks, front kicks to the body, blitz Nelson with straight left hand. He's super explosive closing the distance, and if he can lay clean, he can put anyone to sleep, man, and he needs to stay off his back because I feel he's not nearly as good on the ground. He has been submitted 3 times. He has 4 submissions himself. But I'm going to go with Cabo Oliveira here. I feel like he's a difficult guy to come in over a year-and-a-half layoff. And I see him being able to land some hard leg kicks. Eventually land a straight left hand that hurts Nelson. Take him out with ground and pound, man. I just feel like this is a close fight, but if you're going to have your hands out against an explosive guy that can close his distance like Oliveira, I just feel like eventually he's going to catch you, man. And if he doesn't, and Gunnar Nelson can take him down and submit it, I mean, that's a huge win. Huge comeback win for Gunnar Nelson. You know, I'm pretty glad that he left SPG Island. I don't feel like that's a good camp, and maybe he'll have more success here. I mean, like I said, he looked huge in those recent training pictures that he put out, so I mean, maybe he'll be able to do something. Maybe he'll be able to come back and get the big time win here, but to come back against a guy like Alex Cabo Oliveira, who's been very, very busy, very active in 2018, I just think it's a tough ask, and I feel like Carlos Oliveira is going to be able to roll here, man, so I'm going to go with Alex Cabo Oliveira via second round TKO. It looks like Jimmy Manuwa against Thiago Santos, you know, kind of the battle of the fucking, you know, kind of the battle of, you know, the glass cannons, man. I mean, both these guys have huge power. They're very athletic. They're very skilled. Jimmy's much more of a boxer. Thiago throws a lot more kicks. Thiago's more rangy, better movement. But, you know, they both have that thing where they get hit on the butt and they get hit on with the big shot. They don't react well to it. You know, both of them get knocked out a lot, and both of them don't like being hit, don't like being backed up. But man, this is a tough fight to call for me, man, because I feel like Manuwa you know, he could easily stalk up to the cage, land a big shot similar to David Branch, and take him out quickly. I feel like he really could. You know, Manuwa has that type of power. He has his back against the wall here. If he loses this fight, you know, it might be time to call it a career for Jimmy Manuwa. You know, he's in his 40s. Lost 3 fights in a row, so I mean, really is. I mean, this is a do-or-die fight for Jimmy Manuwa. And for Thiago Santos, you know, he's 2-0. Up at 205, but he's fought 2 185-pounders, so it's kind of hard to gauge, you know, if he can really handle the power, what he's going to do when he fights a guy that's that big. But, you know, Thiago's definitely the more well-rounded guy. He has kicks, he has better takedowns, probably better on the ground with his jiu-jitsu. But Manuwa has that one-punch shot that he can take him out, man. But, man, this is tough for me, man. It's hard for me to pick this fight. I feel like the body kicks of Thiago Santos, if he can just use range, use movement. But I feel like if Thiago Santos wants to go in there and have a war with Jimmy Manuwa, try to close distance, throw punches, try to be wild in there, like, this is a tough fight for me to call, man. I'm going to go with Jimmy Manuwa. I'm going to go with Jimmy Manuwa via first round knockout. I don't know, but I mean, that one to me is legit. It's like a 50-50 fight, man. I mean, I know a lot of people really are heavy on Thiago Santos, and I understand why, but I couldn't trust a guy like Thiago Santos. It's hard for me to trust a guy, you know, that's got knocked out quickly by David Branch, got submitted by Eric Spicely. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go with Jimmy Manuwa. I feel like he has his back against the wall there. Next year, a fight that I've been looking forward to for a long time, you know, Valentina Shevchenko against Joanna Jedrzejcyzk, and, you know, this is an amazing fight, man. I'm really excited for this fight. You know, this is, you know, the former strawweight queen, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. She's going to be the first woman to fight for a belt in 2 weight classes in the UFC. And along with Valentina as well. But JJ is the first one to be able to beat the potential first 2 division champion for female MMA in the UFC. Valentina obviously didn't win her title fight at 135, but she's finally getting her long weight title shot at 125 pounds. And these women have faced off 3 times already in Muay Thai. Shevchenko took all 3 meetings by decision. But Jedrzejczyk's fighting for the first time at 125 pounds in the UFC. She had quite a few brutal weight cuts, and I'm excited to see her perform at her optimum without cutting as much weight. And, you know, Joanna is blistering fast. She's one of the better strikers in the entire UFC. An amazing jab, and she needs to use it a lot in this matchup versus Valentina. She likes to double, triple up on her jab, really accentuates her reach, likes to stay long, throw her jab, you know, and she throws her jab hard, you know, stiff to the head, to the body. She likes to use her jab to set up her combinations, and when she finds her range, she's deadly, man. She's a nice jab to straight right hand combination. Good job using her jab to set up her overhand right. She has nice feints and fakes. She likes to fake shots to get reactions to her opponent's attack, the other areas that are left vulnerable. She had a nice left hook to the body. You know, she dropped Gadelha with a nice lead uppercut. Brutal low calf kick. She really batted the leg of Rose Namajunas in their title fight, which was a very close fight. I went back and rewatched that fight. Man, way closer than I remembered, man. Extremely close fight. And she has nasty front teeps to the body. Very straight. She digs to the balls of the stomach. She'll throw right teep to the head after landing to the body a few times, trying to catch fighters clean. She does a good job setting up her teeps with leg kicks. She likes to throw the right inside low leg kick to a front kick to the body combination. She'll throw the front leg front kick to the face as well. And she's fluid kicking with both legs. She has nice fast left high kicks. She likes to set up either with the jab or the right leg kick, and Joanna's going to be the much faster girl in space, in my opinion. And in the small amount of footage I could find from the Muay Thai fights, it's pretty evident Joanna had the hand speed advantage. And Joanna has a tendency to get emotional. She'll stand flat-footed. She'll try to weak hook, straight punches in the pocket. She was tagged a couple times by Tisha Torres, and continually touched with that leapy left hook of Rose in both fights. She needs to be more defensively sound in this match. Always be moving, throwing kicks, jabs. Try to use the whole octagon to move, use footwork. This cage is going to be a big difference, you know, an advantage for Joanna after fighting Valentina in a ring previously. Everyone knows that, you know, a ring is much smaller. There's going to be way more room in this octagon to move around for Joanna. And, you know, she's going to have to move around, use her speed, use her footwork, keep a high volume of shots out there, and, you know, keep the same pace for the entire fight. And if not, even turn it up as it goes on. And she's much more of a volume striker. She's not a knockout artist, but she's dangerous. She has 4 KO TKOs. She has only been finished once by strikes, but her chin is questionable lately. She's gotten her last 2 fights. She hasn't been dropped or hurt much, but prior to that, she's finished in round 1 by Rosen, dropped in all 3 of her fights before that. But Joanna's really improved her grappling tremendously, man. This is the biggest difference to me between when the first time these girls met. In the first match, it seemed like Valentina was able to dump or body lock Joanna very easily, and when they tied up, you could see that Joanna was really not nearly as seasoned as she is now with the grappling. But Joanna's much thicker, more muscular, along with having much better technique now. She's nasty in the clinch. She does a good job sprawling on takedowns, getting to overhook, throwing hard knees to the body, big elbows. She does a good job at defending takedowns against Tisha Torres against the cage. She would use her underhooks, get head position, turn Torres against the fence, and she had nasty knees to the body, good front elbows. She likes to get that Muay Thai plum clinch. She's deadly in there. She has a good job pulling her opponent's head down, attacking with knees, throwing hard elbows. She bloodied the face of multiple opponents with hard slashing elbows. She has great takedown defense. She has phenomenal balance, very hard to take down. And when she does get taken down, she does a great job protecting herself, returning to her feet, making her opponents work. We've seen opponents such as Claudia Gadelha have success taking down Joanna early, but as the fight went on, they gassed out. JJ took over, and Joanna, won't go for takedowns herself. Normally, she only has 2 takedowns landed in 11 UFC fights, most of those being 5-round fights. But she has an 83% takedown defense, and she isn't really a submission threat. She only has 1 submission in her career. She's never been submitted, and Joanna's still going to be the slightly taller woman in this matchup, but she uses kicks, keep distance, stay at a safe range. I don't think JJ wants to be in boxing range very much, just because of her chin, potentially sharp counters of Valentina. JJ used to use leg kicks, front kicks early, try to walk Valentina into jabs and straight right hands. She can't stand in front of Valentina. She used to use her hand speed, and try to use her hand speed instead of her foot speed, because sometimes she'll do that. She'll try to just stand in the pocket, land 3 or 4 shots with her hand speed, and then circle out of the way. But if she does that with Valentina, Valentina can land clean with a counter. I feel like maybe she could hurt her. So she needs to, I feel as if Valentina, in my opinion, I feel like she's going to try to push JJ against the cage, zap some energy, zap some speed early, and I feel like JJ has to start fast. She has to try to win the early rounds, make Valentina work from behind. If she can use her quickness, frustrate Valentina, land those leg kicks, movement, similar to Amanda Nunes, that's her best chance of victory. Fight the way that she fought against Jessica Andrade. And Valentina Shevchenko, she's been in fight camp all year long. She had 2 failed attempts to fight for the 125-pound title. Nico Montano pulled out, ultimately was stripped. But Shevchenko's 1-0 in the division, brutal stoppage victory over Priscilla Cachoeira. And this is overwhelming, and she's the overwhelming favorite to win this fight. Valentina's going to be the physically bigger woman. She's going to be moving down from 135. Joanna's come up from 115. Valentina's one of the best female Muay Thai strikers on the planet. She has a 56-2 record. She's transferred that nicely to MMA. She's a very good counter striker, very good lead check left hook. She does a great job landing a straight right hand to a left hook combination. She uses kicks to the legs and to the body, and then she'll try to catch you sleeping with a perfect spinning back fist counter. She'll throw Superman punches to a leg kick combination. She likes to throw the right hook to set up her straight left, and she'll bing you with that straight left hand, pretty powerful. She likes to use a spinning back kick to move backwards. And in Muay Thai, she has a lot of knockdowns with that technique. Her awareness of distance return with the counter shot is pretty nasty. She'll slip, land overhand. She's very balanced. She never puts herself out of position. She has strong and solid low leg kicks. She likes to exit out danger after combinations very smoothly, and she does a good job moving her head off the center line, not getting hit cleanly much. And when she's confident, she'll start to really walk opponents down. She'll open up with shots, make them open up with shots, slip counter. And she was dropped by a fake jab uppercut by Holler Home, which is a shot that Joanna throws very well, so maybe Joanna could catch her with that. But Valentina's not a one-shot striker either in terms of power, but I do feel she has more power in her strikes in this matchup. She has 4 knockouts in her career. She's only been finished 1 time by TKO by Liz Carmouche, and she's a great grappler. I see her trying to use her grappling a lot in this match. She has a good clinch entries. She has good possession. She has good position, good head position, lands hard elbows, hard knees, very strong. She wears opponents out in the clinch. She has nice hip tosses, good trips. She's a good wrestler. She'll shoot for single legs in open space. She has a nice snatch single. She's able to set up easy double legs with punches. And she displayed some vicious ground pound against Priscilla Cachoeira. She was able to get good posture on the guard, rain down nasty elbows, punches to the head, to the body. She really bludgeoned Cachoeira, and it was hard to watch, man. She was able to get the crucifix position in the mount, landing a huge amount of ground pound before getting the rear naked choke. I feel on the feet it's going to be a very close fight. I see Valentina wanting to strike a bit, then get in the clinch or get this fight to the ground. And I feel she can get in the clinch, and on top of JJ, she will be able to do damage, bully her a little bit. But man, this might be more of a value pick, more of a hard overhead type pick, but I'm going to go with JJ for the upset here, man. I feel the line is off. I'm a big fan of Joanna Vance. I feel she has, to fight a perfect fight to win here, use her movement, her range. Like I said, fight a similar fight to that she did against Jessica Andrade, but I'm going to pick JJ by split decision. But like I said, I'm not confident, more of a value pick, but Dubs recur with JJ. Come on, baby, let's go. And up next, we have Brian Ortega against Max Holloway. And, man, I mean, I've been looking forward to this fight for a long time, as I'm sure a lot of people have, even before it got booked, just looking at the division. Max Holloway, he's adopted a very similar style to that of Nick Diaz. Uses a lot of the same techniques as Nick. He loves to throw that check left hook, lead hand. He'll paw out with it, throw the 1-2. He'll come around over, change the position of his overhands where he's landing his punches. He'll jut his chin out there, try to goad fighters to try to hit him so he can back with counters. Just the same as Nick. He also plays with his hands. He makes himself long, has a volume pressure style as well. He throws accumulation of shots. He'll eventually hurt you, swarm you, and take you out. He does not get tired, man. He has really amazing cardio, a solid chin as well, good lateral footwork. He cuts fighters off, and he needs to use that to throw a lot of combinations. Try to keep Ortega off of him, try to back him up, always keep him on the end of his shots. And he needs to throw a ton of punches, make Ortega respect him, not want to come inside with no fear. And Max has a piston like 1-2, he shoots it just down the middle. Big power, he dropped Jose Aldo with it, finished him back-to-back times to cement himself as the man to beat at 145. He'll attack with uppercuts, hooks to the body. He's extremely fluid with his hands, and once he gets his confidence going, his rhythm going, he'll start talking to you, get in your head. He seems to start a bit slow, needs time to get going in his fights, but he actually has great takedown defense, especially against the cage. He likes to get the whizzer. He has great wrist control, heavy hips. He'll deny takedowns with just perfect technique. He's defended all 27 of his takedown defense he's had to face his last 10 fights. So, I mean, it's going to be a hard ask for Brian Ortega to get him to the ground, man. And Max Holloway melts guys with pressure, man. Just takes him, starts hitting him to the body. Big. I mean, you saw what he was doing to Aldo. And then, his last 3 wins, all by TKO. He's really been beating guys up. I mean, the 5 rounds really is a big thing for Max Holloway, in my opinion. And, he's a power striker, man. I mean, he has a lot of TKOs. I think he has 7 or 8 TKOs in his career. Never been finished with strikes. He only got finished that one time via submission against Dustin Poirier, his UFC debut. And he was like, I think 19 years old, 20 years old when that happened. So, I mean, hard to take anything away from that. But, man, I mean, denied 27 takedown attempts. That's pretty fucking good, man. I mean, Ortega to get him to the ground, he probably has to drop him, something like that. But Brian Ortega has 6 consecutive finish victories in the UFC. He's never out of a fight, He was losing 2-0 to Tavares, Moicano, Clay Guida before coming back, finishing in round 3. And he's known for his jiu-jitsu. It's some of the most dangerous in the UFC. Off his back, he's fantastic with triangles. He has 4 triangles in his career. He also has an amazing guillotine. His squeeze is unreal, man. He was able to catch Moicano in that when he went for a takedown. He was able to catch Cub Swanson standing in the clinch with the nasty guillotine. And he forced people to become uncomfortable, shoot against him with extreme pressure, walks forward. He has an amazing chin, great cardio, but he really only throws hands. He has a solid jab, throws a nice overhead right, big uppercut as well. Hurt Frankie Edgar with the uppercut. He'll throw body and head kicks if you start to, try to cut off the cage. And he can't get tagged with overhand straight punches. He takes them very well. Moicano's attacking body head, finishing with combinations with kicks very effectively. And Ortega doesn't check leg kicks. He just takes them. He had a nasty step in knee against Clay Guida. He turned it up to get the finish, and he will do that late in fights when he needs to. He doesn't really have offensive wrestling. While he wasn't able to get Cub to standing guillotine, Cub always has problems with grapplers. Ortega gets sometimes content to strike. He'll lose striking battles. But he likes to switch stances, shoot his jab out there for both stances. When he gets a hold of your neck, the fight's over, man. He's undefeated. He's a huge danger. And, all the pressure, in my opinion, this is all on Max Holloway here. I mean, Max Holloway has to prove that he can still make the weight. He has to prove that he can make the weight safely, and then he has to prove that he can compete still at the weight. So he's had a lot of setbacks recently. You know, he even had a setback trying to make 155 pounds. So it's a big thing, man. And we're gonna see if Max is 100%, and if Brian's really the real deal, man. I mean, Brian Ortega is just one of these guys that's been able to pull out fights, man. I mean, all these guys that sometimes they can pull out fights, I mean, they're just winners, man, and they're going to be able to continuously be able to win. But Max Holloway is a fucking winner, man. I mean, one other person wins 11 consecutive or 13 consecutive. I mean, however many UFC fights he's won in a row. I mean, him, Tony Ferguson, few guys, man. And he's a big-time competitor, man. And, oh, man, I mean, this is a hell of a fight. But I just think that on the feet, Max Holloway has him outgunned, man. I feel like Ortega's a big dude, but I feel like Max Holloway's a big fucking guy too, and Max Holloway has a great chin, and I just feel like he has great cardio. He's not going to get tired against Ortega, and I feel like Ortega's not going to be able to take him down, man, and I don't feel like Max Holloway's going to put himself in a stupid position in the clinch. I don't feel he's going to try to engage at all in the grappling, and I feel like Max Holloway is going to be able to man, do I predict a finish here for Max Holloway? I think Max Holloway's going to get a 4th round TKO, man. Going to go with Max Holloway and still blessed era, man. Hope he comes in 100%. I mean, I really do. If he doesn't come in 100%, Brian's going to take that belt, man. I mean, Brian's that good. You can't come in even 95% against this guy. He has to be 100% Max Holloway, ready to go. He has to be, you know, fired on all cylinders, man. He has to be fired, and I'm gonna imagine Max Holloway is gonna be fired, man. I'm sure that he's really dying to get back in the octagon. He hasn't fought since December 2017, so basically a year off, and you know, been a long time off for Brian Ortega as well, waiting for this fight. And Brian Ortega was saying some interesting things, like he said he couldn't get fully mentally invested in this fight due to being pulled out a couple times, and to me that's a dangerous mindset, man. I mean, if you're thinking that Max Holloway is going to show up, and then all of a sudden he shows up, he's 100% Max Holloway, I mean, what are you going to be thinking in there? I mean, so maybe that's not the right mindset to have, but I feel like Brian Ortega is a guy that he's always going to show up, he's going to perform, man. I mean, that he's a performer, he's someone that performs under the lights, so I just don't feel like he's going to have a problem in terms of, you know, not performing, so I feel like he's going to perform. But, you know, for the parlay of the week that I'm going to do for this week, I'm going to do Claudia Gadelha to go along with Caitlin Chookagian for the parlay of the week. And I feel like that's a decent odd parlay. I mean, we hit all 4 of our plays last week, so we're going to try to keep it rolling, man. I mean, 19-3, that was an impressive week for us, and, you know, really happy that I was able to do so well on those 2 fight weekends. That was pretty cool. But some other plays that I feel like are good, you know, Carlos Ferreira inside the distance. I feel like he's going to finish Jesse Ronson. Chad Laprise inside the distance as well. You know, I mean, he may take a decision, but I just feel like he's just much better than Diego Lima. Matthew Lopez, like I said, I already have a bet placed on Matthew Lopez to beat Brian Katona as like a 2.5 to 1 underdog. I think it was plus 210. And the line actually went opposite of what I projected, so I could have probably even got a better line. But, you know, oh well, I feel like Matthew Lopez has a great chance to get a win there. Alexander Rakic, obviously, is a big-time favorite. I mean, if you're on the hype train, you think he's going to win inside the distance, maybe that's a good play. Aubin-Mercier, I actually have a bet on him as well. So, you know, I feel like he's going to get the victory. And I have a bet on Theodoru as well, a small bet. But, so I feel like he also is a good upset pick. I mean, the line changed dramatically with him. I think I got him at like plus 145. Now it's even odds, so don't really like the play as much now at those odds. But the odds that I got, I'm pretty happy with it. And, you know, Caitlin Chookagian, Jessica I, like I said, I feel like Chookagian should win that one. Gadelha, you know, Gunnar Nelson, or I mean, Hakeem Dawodu, Kyle Bochniak. Bochniak's a good underdog to play on this card, in my opinion, as well as, you know, I feel like Oliveira's a good underdog to play, and Jimmy Manuwa. I mean, those fights to me are 50-50 fights, man. I mean, if you're going to bet on them, bet on the underdog. And like I said, Joanna, to me, I feel like that line is off. And I feel like if you want to play that line, I wouldn't hate that play. But I do feel like like I said, it's maybe a more hard overhead pick. And then for Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, I mean, I'm not going to put anybody on that fight. I'm just going to enjoy it. But if you feel like you have a great lead on it, you feel like Brian Ortega is destined to get the belt, you feel like Max Holloway is going to take the belt or continue his reign, then you know, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you're going to bet on. Let me know what you think of my breakdowns. If you think I'm wrong on any picks, or if you think you agree with all my picks. And I'm going to put my bet and made tips in the you know, in the description, which is a website where you track your bets, you know, so you guys will be able to see, you know, all the plays that I'm making, you know, for this week and for the previous, you know, few months that I've been tracking my plays on there. So, you know, go follow my account on there if you have a bet and made tips as well. I'm going to put it in the description, and you know, maybe you can eventually try to play, you know, the same plays as me, see what happens. I mean, I've been doing pretty decent. I did a very well over this past weekend, so we're gonna try to keep it rolling. And I'm not gonna charge for picks or anything, so it'll be there. It'll be available for you guys to see if you guys want to check out what I'm gonna play. And obviously, I always give you guys the parlay of the week, the most confident pick as well. So I'm giving you guys some decent, you know, options for betting tips there as well. And hopefully, you guys like the show. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and you know, share with your friends and everything. And we're all the way to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, man. I'm pretty excited about all the progress that I've gotten over, you know, a little bit over a year now for my videos. So thanks a lot for the support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.